The Hall of Fame was founded in 1983, and since then we've inducted 175 student athletes and coaches and 42 Award of Merit winners. And tonight it's our great pleasure to increase that account by 6. And first up, Mark Hensley, class of 1981. Yeah, that's right, another Hensley's going into the Hall of Fame. Mark played 3 sports while at Lincoln, earning 6 varsity letters. He's a standout in basketball. First team selection in his senior year for OCC honors. He was the All Central District 2nd team and was chosen for the All-Star team for District 10. He was senior year, he was elected captain and was honored as the team's most valuable player. He was also an outstanding baseball player, playing the infield, first and third base, and he received all OCC honors his senior year. After high school, he joined the Ohio State Patrol, and he earned the rank of sergeant, but he was also named Trooper of the Year in 1988. He also served many years as assistant girls basketball coach at Gahanna Lincoln for 10 years. And during that time, the team won 6 Central District and 2 regional runner-ups. He's now retired and works as a property room manager for the Whitehall Police Department. Mark lives in Black Lake, Ohio with his wife, Sarah. They have 3 grown daughters, Kaylee, Madison, and Gracie. Please join me in welcoming Mark Hensley into the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to use Gary's notes to right here. This isn't as long as it looks, I'm telling you. Thanks for everybody coming tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. It is such an honor to stand before you this evening and be inducted into the Gahanna Athletic Hall of Fame. I would like to congratulate my fellow inductees for also being recognized for their contributions. Congratulations to you. This moment represents the peak of my athletic career, as well as a celebration of the numerous people who supported and inspired me along the way. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for nominating me for this award. Being recognized among such amazing athletes is humbling. And I'd like to thank my brother for not actually voting for me. I'm proud to join the ranks of those who have made significant contributions to Gahanna Lincoln athletics and the community here at Holt. My time in Gahanna has always brings back fond memories of growing up in a place that had such profound impact on me. That makes it even more special to have been chosen to receive this honor. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to my family. My parents, Ralph and Jenny Hensley. Anybody in here knows my mom and dad. Their unwavering support, sacrifices, and belief in me have been the foundation of my journey. You were always there for me from the beginning, attending every game, washing every uniform, that every kid looked dirty, and my mom, I had to bring it home. She had some concoction she put in her washer that the EPA is still trying to figure out what it is. My parents were a little different. They weren't that parent that stood up and screamed. They weren't that parent that gave me a lot of grief if I played bad. You just knew if you came home and Dad called you out to the porch swing to have a little talk, things didn't go so well. My mother, on the other hand, was the person that would feed you, and that's all she wanted to do, and to clean your uniforms. She took toothbrushes to every stain on every uniform. I remember at a baseball game, she's like, I need those 2 guys' uniforms right there. They don't look very good. I said, Mom, that's embarrassing for me to go ask them. Just go ask them. Okay. So I had those 2 uniforms, and by the end of the year, we got the whole uniform, all the uniforms are at the house. She's scrubbing them with toothbrushes, and everybody looked great all of a sudden. Of course, she didn't get uniforms every year then, so that's why they kind of looked at you. So my mom took care of that. So this honor is actually for them more than it is for me. And I'm proud to say that they were the biggest impact that had on me. To my sisters, thank you for being my sounding board. Since being the 6th of 6 kids, at this point, no one really gave a crap what I said. Your encouragement and enthusiasm have kept me grounded and reminded me of the satisfaction that comes with pursuing something you love. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and the unique ways you have contributed to my journey. Thank you very much. To my brothers, this gets a little crazy. My brothers Mike wasn't able to be here tonight, but these were the 2 best athletes I knew growing up. They're both in the Hall of Fame. We've had conversations throughout our house, who's the best athlete in the family? I'm going to solve that right now. It's my brother Fred. Thanks for all the time you spent in the backyard with me, throwing the ball, shooting, beating up on me, and making me stronger. Trainings and practices were a little different at my house. One point in time, my brother tied me to the bedpost. Said, "Hey, you get away from the bedpost, you can go out and play in the yard." I never made it. So to both my brothers, I appreciate everything you've ever done for me. There was no time growing up that I ever thought that I would be the athletes you were. You were the greatest. You were the greatest athletes I knew. To my wife, Sarah, also a Hall of Famer, and my 3 daughters, Kaylee, Madison, and Gracie. Thank you for being here to support me in this very special day. And my girls, I told you I was a pretty good athlete. You never believed me. It wasn't just your mother's genes that contributed to your athleticism. I'd also like to acknowledge my incredible coaches that I had during my time. Coaches Reed, Coach Hedges, and Coach Mooring. For your guidance, discipline, and love of the game were instrumental in shaping my athletic skills. You pushed me to reach new heights and taught me the value of hard work and perseverance. Your belief in my potential helped me see what I could achieve. Now to the most important people I have during this journey. To my friends and teammates, I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to all of you. Athletics is more than a competition. It is a shared journey, and throughout this journey, I have been blessed to form friendships with some truly extraordinary people. From the moment I first laced up my shoes, it was your support as friends that made each challenge more manageable and each victory sweeter. It's the friends who stood by my side throughout the grueling conditioning, celebrated me in times of victory, and told me to get over it during times of defeat. Each of you has contributed to my journey in ways that extend far beyond the court or the field. The conversations after practice, made up games that we played in the back room, the locker rooms, till the coaches made us go home. These are all moments that have truly defined my experience. In sports, we often talk about teamwork and why it's crucial that friendships we have formed go even deeper. My friends have taught me invaluable lessons about loyalty, compassion, and the true meaning of success. This induction into the Hall of Fame is much as a tribute to the incredible people walked alongside me as it is my own efforts. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of my amazing journey. Your friendship has been the most rewarding, cherished part of my athletic career, and I am forever grateful and have shared it with you. In the words of Walter Payton, life is short, it is also sweet. There are a lot of people that we meet as we walk through these hallowed halls, but the things that mean the most are the friendships that you make and take with you along the way. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I put a little step stool there so we could get up on this thing. It's going to be easy to fall off of it. Our next inductee, a remarkable young man, still a young man, Zane Stickle, class of 1996. Zane is coming into the Hall of Fame because he was a terrific wrestler for the Lions back in the 90s. He made the state finals twice, once in his junior year and placed third in the state his senior year. He still, I think, at least he says he has, still has the career takedown record with 28 years later. It's remarkable. He was a wrestling junior national freestyle All-American and a cadet national freestyle runner-up. His high school career in wrestling is unbelievable, and he was maybe the greatest wrestler we ever had at hand. I'm not sure, but pretty close. He also was a student. Some of the things he did: Buckeyes Boy State, National Honor Society. I think you were in the marching band. You won the debate team, and you kind of tapped it off by being co-valedictorian. That's not bad. He had offers from many universities. He ended up at a place called Annapolis, the Naval Academy. Spent 4 years there getting a degree. Also wrestled there for 4 years. And lettered all 4 years, I'm sure. He graduated from Annapolis with a 3.9 GPA. And I think he said he was in the top 20 of his class. And it's a class of 1,000 to 2,000 people, about that. Following graduation, he served his time in the military. He retired as a commander. He spent time as a pilot, flying combat missions in Afghanistan and Iraq. Zane is currently Customer Solutions Manager for Amazon Web Services. It scares me to even know what that is. He resides in Church Falls, Virginia, with his wife Bethany and their children, Isaac and Selah, where he coaches, guess what? Youth wrestling. Zane, the only thing I can say is, Commander Stickle, thank you for your 20 years of service, and welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Thanks so much, Gary. I appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words. Thank you to everybody involved with this, to the board. I saw Miss Ratzenberger, who was my science teacher from way back in the day, which is awesome. I didn't know if I'd see anybody I knew. You know, I saw Coach Schwati, who let me be on the cross country team to get in shape for wrestling. So I appreciate that. Made some great friendships, but we all know what my primary sport was. Ryan Kitzmiller, Gary's son, who was a classmate of mine. Good to see you again, and thanks for being involved in this. So thanks, everybody. I'm really up here to express gratitude. So first, because it gives me an opportunity, I don't know if you've heard that song, Hall of Fame. It's like living in the Hall of Fame. Told my kids now I can sing that to them. They have to listen to me sing it loud because it applies to me. Unfortunately, my kids can't be here. They started school this week. We thought missing 2 days of school is probably no good for the first week of school. The real reason is, I don't know if you know, women's wrestling is growing. If you watch the Olympics, we did really well. A couple of women took home gold medals. My daughter has wrestling practice tonight, so that's the real reason why they can't be here. Can't make the trip from Virginia, but no. So grateful for that. I think, what we're all very grateful for is the people in the community that set the conditions for us to do the things that we did. For me, the opportunity to pursue excellence in something, to work hard at it, has made all the difference in my life, really. Like every hard thing that I had to do, going to the Naval Academy, you know, going away from home, going through a special operations assessment. I was a terrible swimmer. I get in the pool and I nearly drown every time. I had to make it through like survival training to be a Navy pilot. It was really hard, and it really fell back on those lessons that I learned here in this community, on the wrestling mat and with the coaches and the people that made that happen for me. And it helped open the pathway to the Naval Academy. And it started with, crazy enough, Will Phillips here, yeah, right over there. He got me into wrestling. We were on the bus. I didn't expect him to be here. He's here for another, you know, not here for me, but just happens to be here. And he's, you know, we were riding the bus, I think, in 5th grade. And he says, "Hey, we got wrestling here. I don't think you're cut out for it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll show you." So there you go. And it takes all these people and all these things, and I think, you know, it's not just sports that gives us an opportunity to learn resilience, to learn toughness, to learn how to go out and work hard and pursue something. And whether we get there, and most athletes, probably everybody here at this table, never made it to exactly where they wanted to go. Even folks that take home gold medals from the Olympics or playing in the NFL, they probably fell short somewhere along the way, right? So it teaches that there are other ways to do it, but it's one of the best ways for kids. I truly believe that. And I think when we're in the sport, when we're in it, when we're battling it out, like through high school and college, we're thinking a lot about ourselves. I know I was, because it is hard. You got a lot of stuff going on, and you're a kid, right? You're immature. You know what you're going through, and you really don't stop and say, how is this even possible that I'm doing all this stuff? And so I'm really grateful that y'all brought me back, because I can stop and say, wow, it took a lot. And in retrospect, now that I'm coaching kids and dealing with parents and trying to motivate kids, and I see just how hard and how much work and how much effort it is, I really grow to appreciate all of those people that helped me and this community that helped me. It of course starts with my family. You know, my dad used to take me on these long drives, and we call it Olympic moments. We never quite made it to the Olympics, but taking on these drives to go to wrestling camp all over the place and far away. And you know, he just gave me the opportunity. It never told me he wouldn't take me or help me pursue that dream and goal. So Dad, I love you and appreciate all you did for my wrestling. For my sister, you know, she got drugged to all these wrestling tournaments, and they're really horrible. Like youth, they've gotten better now because they try to cycle the kids through. But back in the day, you know, it's like 7 in the morning, youngest, smallest kids, which was me, down through the oldest, biggest kids at like 9 at night. You know, and you just cycled through, and she had to go there and just sit through all that. So, but always supported me and loved me all the way through. Got my brother Scott here, who's supported me my whole life. So I appreciate my whole family. And of course, my mom. You know, instilled so many of my values in me. But wrestling is really personal. You're going out there against one other person. You know, there's no hiding whether you win or lose. And I think it's a pretty difficult sport for a mother. You know, I watch it. It's tough for me as a father, but I see how tough it is for my wife now watching my kids. How challenging it can be, just the ups and downs of going out there, personal, one-on-one, winning and losing. And my mom gave me the love I needed to make it through that all the way through college. So I really appreciate everything you did, and couldn't have done it without you. To my coaches in this community, again, like looking back, it's so hard just giving your time just to keep the room open. So you know, thanks to all my coaches, going back to the Little Lions Club. I remember Coach Henry, Coach Schilling. I had great middle school coaches here, Coach Malink. Coach Zamora, and then Coach Wheeler, who we're trying to figure out where he is, but I guess I heard he's hard to run down. But Coach Wheeler, Coach Hammond, all the coaches here in the community, just really appreciate all they did for me. Because again, not because it feels great to have won a bunch of things, but because it's been just so important and impactful in my life. So I appreciate it. Everybody who's helped me out in this community, thank you so much. Lastly, what I think I'm most grateful for. Is what I think the purpose of this is. Why are we hanging plaques of people up on walls here in our community? And I think it's to tell the young people, it's to tell the kids that are coming up, like, you work hard, you believe. It's people like you that live in this community that just found out about wrestling because they were riding the bus with Will Phillips one day. And you can go do it. You can go as far as you want. And the people around here will support you. Your parents will support you. And you know, I run into parents and I hear them say, you know, my kid's never going to be a D1 athlete. My kid's never going to be an Olympian. I'm like, don't say that in front of your kids. Nobody ever said that to me here in this community. Everybody just told me I could do what I wanted. I could go as far as I believed I could go, and as far as I could go with my own work, effort, desire, belief. And there's things out of our control, right? We have a certain amount of athletic ability. You know, there's limitations that lots of us might face that might prevent us from going that far. But you know, take those limits away, and I think that's the purpose of this, right? Let's show our kids that we believe that athletics is important. We believe they can go as far as they want to go in it. And there's people in their community just like them that went and did big things in sports. The other people in this panel have done some amazing things. So congratulations to you all. Again, I really appreciate it. It's a great honor. And you know, I had the chance to get in front of the wrestling team today and tell them exactly what I just said. I'm just like them. I got the same probably athletic ability to them, maybe less than a lot of them. They can do it here in Gahanna because this community believes in them. This community believes in sports. And all the great things that I think we do as people really comes out of that striving to do great things and having people support you, not just your parents, not just your family members, but a whole community. So thank you very much. Thank you for this honor.
Ashley Zirkle, class of 2003. Ashley earned 5 varsity letters in 3 sports. Basketball and softball as a student at Lincoln. She's an excellent basketball player, but she's in the Hall of Fame tonight because of softball. We've been told that Ashley was probably one of the finest, if not the finest, catcher ever to play for the softball team. She led her sophomore, junior, and senior years. Her play was a major contributing factor for the team finishing as runner-up in the 2003 state softball championship. And during that time, she was honored as an all-star at all levels. She went on to attend Bowling Green University, where she played softball, led it all 4 years, and once was named Mid-American Conference Player of the Week. She played on teams that had great success, winning 133 games, and recorded a 33-8 record 1 year, becoming the winningest team in school history. She graduated from Bowling Green with a Bachelor of Science in Sports Management and a minor in Marketing. And this I couldn't believe. After graduation, she said she moved to many places with her work. Listen to this: Texas, California, Colorado, Australia, Chicago, and back to Texas. But now she's in Phoenix, Arizona, where she works as medical device sales. Please welcome to the Hall of Fame, Ashley Zirkle.
Can I just say ditto to what they said? Hi all, I am freezing, by the way, if you didn't hear. I live in Phoenix now, so freezing. All right, here we go. First off, just want to thank everyone for this honor. Just having lived so many places, I haven't been to Gahanna too much in the past 20 years, but to watch it grow and thrive, and just, it's such an honor to just be part of such an amazing community such as Gahanna, and see it just grow and be part of the legacy that's and the stars that have already come through and are going to continue to come through. It's very exciting to just be part of this community, and I brag about Gahanna wherever I go. So just to be part of it is definitely not lost on me. So I'm very excited to be part of this special club now. So when I got the letter that I found out I was going to be here, and I said, yay! And you have to give a speech. Crack. So here we are. I asked Chat AI if they had lots of ideas, but they don't know the real me. So I had a few of my teammates and coaches actually send a couple things, because I don't like talking about myself. But a lot of them, I always went by Z, right? So no one knows me as Ashley. So being called Ashley is very odd, being back in Gahanna. But So yeah, Ashley, or Zerk, as I've always affectionately called her, leader in every way, in every sense of the word. She exhibits perseverance, grit, positivity. On top of being an all-amazing human, GLHS is honored to have her. Campy, who is here tonight, man, you just dealt with 14 to 17-year-old girls for years. God bless you. Holy hell. But we went through a lot. So I can't thank you enough for your support and just dealing with all of us. And his words were, I always thought of you as a team leader. I expected our catchers to be able to call the game. You were very good at it. I expected a lot out of you, and you never let me down. You were the first in a long line of catchers that we sent on to play at the college level. You were also a very good hitter and a big part of our success. And you're part of my success, Campy, so thank you. So there's a couple things, but yeah, so about me and when I went to high school, when I think about Hall of Fame, sports, I mean, I literally, all of us, I would like to think, I talk about sports, I'm playing sports, I'm watching sports, I'm doing something with sports every single day. So to be to say that I can walk around, my bracelet broke, but I have a little Hall of Famer bracelet, like, it's a sense of pride. Like, sports, it's exciting, right? We never know what's going to happen. So sports has been so much a part of my life. So to be honored and have a little tick next to my name that I contributed in some way is really special. But I played volleyball for a little bit, then they handed me the spandex shorts and I said, nope, I'm out. Then I played basketball because my mom was like, you should probably stay in shape for softball. Let's have you condition and play softball during the winter. I said, sure. Same with catching. I was a hyper little kid, imagine that. Throw on some gear, don't let the ball get past you. Same with basketball. Hey, don't let them score, play defense. I was all about it. I'm not even reading this page anymore, but I just always wanted to compete, always wanted to be the best, always wanted to just, what's the next level? How can I get better? What can I do? What can I do for my teammates? How can I make them better? That's one of my favorite parts because out of all of the awards, all of that, I don't even know where my awards are. I don't even have any stats. They're somewhere in a box. But the most important thing that I learned from sports was my friendships and my teammates. Like, I can talk to any of you any single day. I love watching my friends just grow and thrive, and like, we went through some stuff. So I think the most important thing is, even with my parents, talking about the Hall of Fame, where I was like, what do I say? What are your memories? And their memories are you parents, and talking crap and partying before and after the game, and if we lost, kind of changes the whole night, right? So I think most importantly has been, none of these pages are making sense, is just the friendships that we make and the bond that we build and talking smack about that umpire. I think, Campy, weren't you in the paper getting called out? You were calling out the umpire and he goes, go somewhere where I can't see you, and you stood on home plate and goes, I haven't made a call here all day, so I'll stand here. But so yeah, I just think that sports just brings such camaraderie and just, I mean, everything. So yeah, so did basketball, and then basketball, they said, you're too short to play in college. I said, fine, I'll get a softball scholarship. I'll go to softball. So I focused in softball, and that's literally set the whole trajectory of my life. Because had I not played softball, I wouldn't have got a scholarship to Bowling Green. Wouldn't have got the opportunity to get in medical sales, and that's what took me to all those states and countries and everything. But always still grounded in just being a teammate, whether you're a mom, you're a salesperson, you're the mailman, like, you want to be the best in whatever you do. Coach Lewis, he was a basketball coach. Molly, you know. Coach Lewis, he just made me feel like I was unstoppable. Whatever I did and put my mind to, I could do. So I really appreciate that. He's like, if you can't play that game, be the best freaking bench person you can be. And I was like, you got it. Everyone's getting water. They got a towel. Nobody is going down without me. So, and I took that on to college. I didn't play all the time my freshman year, but I remember teammates saying, I just looked over on the bench and you were cheering your heart out. Because I couldn't play, but that's all I could give was being a cheerleader for my teammates. So I think whatever you do, just be the best at it. I'm competitive in everything I do. Driving here, you know, I want to be first. You know, I see you park at the same time. I'm going to get here first. So, yeah, just sports has just made me who I am. What's my time? I'm just rambling at this point. But no, it's just, you know, we love sports. It's amazing. I'm so excited to be part of this. And what else can I say? I'm just excited to be part of this group. Can't be here without my family. Holy cow. All the Gatorades and miles and stuff you guys did. It's unbelievable. And no cartilage in my knees reminds me every day of my hard work. So there's that. But yeah, and honestly, I just feel so honored because my family, you guys made me feel like I could literally do anything. Whatever I wanted to do, you guys were supporting me. And they're like, yep, you're going to be the best at it. And I couldn't have done it all without you because you guys just made me feel like I was the best. If I played or not, I was your favorite player. So I can't thank you guys enough. So my mom couldn't be here, so hi, Karen. And thanks, Dad, Molly, Christina, Grandma, Rachel, Rats for Life, Campy, Chris and Kathy, my whole support system. I'm just so grateful. And Gehanna, a lot of you in this room I've seen and watching my journey. It's been exciting, so I'm going to stop rambling now. Cheers, raise a glass. LIONS in class of 2004. You guys, I'm honored to be part of this group. So yeah, cheers, y'all.
Our next inductee is Ryan Grimmie, class of 2010. Ryan's an interesting story. He's coming into the Hall of Fame because of, he probably was the best soccer goalie in the state of Ohio the year they won the state championship. But he played basketball his freshman year, didn't play for 2 years. Came back, and I don't know whether he begged Tony Stibe or not, but he got on the basketball team as a senior, as a role player. And I kind of think maybe he got on the team because he wanted to guard Jared Solinger in the regional final, which he did. And he did a great job in the basketball team, but in soccer, they won the state championship in a shootout. And he was the goalie that stopped the kicks. He was arguably the best goalie in the state. He was the Ohio Magazine Player of the Year for Ohio Capital Conference first team, ESPN National Athlete of the Week, ESPN Soccer Player of the Week, Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd. Mr. Grimmie, how do you become faces in the crowd? That's amazing. He was voted the most valuable player on his team. He was a Central Ohio All-Star. He went to Vassar College out of high school, played soccer there for 4 years on the championship team, graduated in 2014 with a BA in political science, and earned honors for his economic minor. Ryan currently lives in New York City with his fiancee, who's also a Lincoln graduate, was a member of the women's soccer team. He's the chief operating officer and structure and owner and operator of port and structure across the United States. That sounds important. It must be, because he's in a business meeting today and couldn't make it here. But his father's here, Mr. John Grimmie. Would you please come up and accept that award for your son? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. I get to say a few words after 32 years of being Ryan's father. I'm John Grimmie, as he said, Ryan's father, and at table 8 is my wife Cindy. We're the proud parents of 3 sons who all participated in Gehanna Lincoln sports over an 11-year consecutive period. And we have a gazillion Lincoln Lions t-shirts and hoodies to prove it. So Cindy and I are here today representing our son Ryan at this Hall of Fame induction ceremony. As he said, Ryan works for a logistics infrastructure company headquartered in New York City. And because of his prior commitments, he couldn't be here. He had to support his company and his customers. But he's here definitely in spirit, celebrating this great honor along with the other impressive inductees who I congratulate this year, as well as those from past years. First and foremost, Ryan has asked me to share his thanks and gratitude to the Athletic Hall of Fame Board of Trustees, the athletic department, and the administrators, including the superintendent and the athletic director and all the teachers and friends and coaches. He really appreciates everything that they've done, all the sacrifices of time and the support they've given. Some of those names are Dwayne Marshall, Tim Poitinger, and Todd Keenan on the soccer side, and Tony Steib, Ryan Kitzmiller, Coach Martin, Matt Potter on the basketball side. Thanks to you men, you helped Ryan be part of the most exciting teams in Lincoln history. Playing Northland in the barn at the fairgrounds and winning the greatest basketball game I ever saw against the #1 team in the country by 26 points was just an amazing, electric experience to say, I know that kid, or I know those kids, they are my son's friends. It was amazing. And then we're blessed to have another great moment in history, which was beating St. Iggy's in a overtime shootout at Crew Stadium for the state title. Another #1 team in the country. Now, Ryan was a 6'7" goalie in soccer, and in basketball, he was mainly defensive or rebounding. He was one of the workhorses, all right? But he took pride in the roles that he was asked to take, and he felt a close brotherhood with his teammates. And here's a couple examples of that dedication to playing the role that the coach asks you to do. In soccer, he only allowed 4 goals in 23 matches his senior year. That's 0.17 goals a game, 19 shutouts, and I think it's still the second best record in the history of the state of Ohio. On the basketball side, yeah, we could talk about Jared Sullinger and Weatherspoon and all those other guys, Trey Burke, but my proudest moment of Ryan was in the district final against Westerville North. Westerville North always snake bit Gahanna, and we never really got that district title. We didn't get the program to the next level. And I think that's why Ryan came back to play basketball his senior year. At 6'7", he thought he could help. And in that game, it went to overtime at the barn. And there was a guy named Ralph Hill, I think. I think he played for University of Dayton later. But he was scoring 22, 24 points a game, and he was on fire. And Ryan had denied him twice during that overtime so that we could win by 6 points. It was quite a blessing. It was one of my proudest moments of him, and it was just him playing defense. So as I reflect on what makes Ryan a strong choice to join these great people as an inductee, I have to think that he has a focus on working hard and striving to be better. Speaking from a parent's perspective, Ryan always had that work ethic that never faltered. For example, when the kids get off the school bus, they come home, drop their school bag, kick off their shoes, hop over to the couch and plop down and watch TV. But not Ryan. Ryan would come in, grab a snack, go straight to the kitchen table and do his homework and get it done so he could go and do the next thing he wanted. He tried to squeeze a lot into the day. He always worked hard to improve, and that was visible with the way he played soccer and basketball, and even now with his professional career. Another obvious attribute as a parent that I see in Ryan was his leadership and his role model qualities. Throughout his participation in club sports, in high school, and college athletics, he was a leader and team captain for both Gahanna and Vassar College. He helped motivate his teammates to perform at a higher level. The best example of this was when we were in the state championship against St. Iggy's, and Ryan stopped the first 2 shots. Now, if you know anything about soccer, as a coach or a manager like I've been in youth soccer, the best you can ask a goalie to do is just save just 1, out of the 5. He was able to stop the first 2. And the leadership parts, here's where that kicks in. Will Trapp's father, John Trapp, said after he stopped that second shot against All-Americans, he had a swagger. And he was like just swaggering around in the goal waiting for his time to try to stop another shot. That was contagious to the team. And after he stopped that second shot, Gahanna scored 4 consecutive goals to win the shootout. And it was topped off by Will Trapp hitting the 5th one. All right? The confidence he showed was contagious, like I said, and we beat the #1 team in the country. Lastly, Ryan's always been considerate, humble, and grateful. He doesn't like to be the center of attention. He always tries to help others in a quiet way, a humble way. He helps his friends and family whenever there's a need and asks nothing in return. A fun fact, he always gave a big stink about getting his picture taken with the family during holidays or gatherings. And now he has one of the biggest challenges in his life. In a few weeks, he's getting married to a fellow alum, Kirsten Law, and he's going to have to do a lot of smiling that day. To wrap up, from Ryan, Cindy, and I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, members, and the coaches and the teachers of Gahanna Lincoln for the backing and the recognition over the years. Congratulations to the inductees, and please continue to give today's athletes the same guidance, love, and support that you gave Ryan. Thank you.
One thing I forgot to mention, we were discussing earlier about Grimmy, and I'm not sure this is true, but I don't ever remember an athlete at Gahanna Lincoln being able to play in a state championship in 2 different sports, and he did that. So, just another little anecdote. If you look in the program, years past, you'll see that over the years we've inducted a number of great coaches. Tonight we're going to do the same thing. Michael Lanza, coach. Mike was a great athlete in his own right. I'm not going to dwell on that. He's going into the Hall of Fame because of his time as coach at Gahanna Lincoln, the football team. His football team's compiled a record of 90-49 with multiple Ohio Capital Conference titles and playoff appearances. Keep in mind, back then, playoff appearances were a little harder to get to now, where they had almost everybody. He was recognized as OCC Coach of the Year, Central District Coach of the Year, and Central District Coaches Association and Agganis Coach of the Year. And you know what? I think the greatest award that I saw that he got was he was given the Ethics and Integrity Award for the state of Ohio. And this past year, he was inducted into the Central District Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Mike resides in Columbus with his wife Annette. They have 3 grown children, Maria, Gina, and Angela, and 7 grandchildren. Please welcome Mike Lanza into the Gahanna Lincoln Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, I hope everybody's having a good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for this honor. There's been a lot of great athletes and just great people walk through the halls of Gahanna Lincoln, and I feel truly honored to be going into the Hall of Fame. Secondly, my faith has always been a very important part of my life. And just that God has a plan for all of us, and that you're always where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Sometimes it's about you. Sometimes it's about those around you. And I'm just thankful that such a large part of my journey was to be at Gahanna, because it's such a great place. This is not a person award, it's a people award. Because nobody accomplishes anything of significance without the help of a lot of different people. And I can tell you that from the time I was hired at Gahanna to the time that I retired from Gahanna, I had a lot of support. From the Board of Education to the administration that allowed us to start junior high football. That was a huge step for our program. To the counselors that not only helped our players navigate high school, but helped them do the proper paperwork and things that they needed to get into college. To the teachers that gave up time that they didn't have, to help our players when they needed a little bit of extra help, after school, before school, whenever. To the support staff that just made the whole program run smoothly in my time there. And just to all the people that I communicated with, parents, other teachers, other professionals, whatever it might be, that either paid a compliment or let me know that Knucklehead Fred was doing something dumb that I needed to take a look at. So there's three very important groups of people that I'd like to recognize. And if I could just have anyone that was an assistant coach or played for me, if you could please stand up just really quickly. Thank you. You know, this is a testament to the kind of people that they are and the kind of character that they have. You know, to come and support either their coach or someone that they worked with. Because our assistant coaches, they didn't work for me, they worked with me. Because many of their ideas were the ideas that put us over the top in many of the games. And I'll never be able to repay them for their loyalty and their expertise and their friendship and their support during my tenure as a coach. Because, you know, when I was coaching at Gahanna, we didn't have huddle where you could push a button and your whole staff got, you know, a copy of the upcoming opponent. We had to meet, because there was only one copy, whether it was a VCR or whether it was a DVD or, you know, whatever it might have been. So we had to have long meetings, which meant that the assistant coaches were away from their families darn near as much as I was away from my family. And so, like I said, I can never show enough gratitude to those people that helped. Second group is the players. I had the opportunity at Gahanna to coach a lot of talent. There's always talent at Gahanna. And you can't win without talent. No matter what people might think, you can't win without talent. Because I've been on both sides of that coin in my career. But talent can't win unless they buy into the culture that you've created. Talent can't win unless they buy in. And once they buy in, it's just a matter of trusting them when it's tough. Once they've bought in, you've got to trust them. in the tough situations. And the best way that I can illustrate that is to give you an example. There's hundreds of examples in my time at Gahanna and at the other places I've been also. But one that really sticks out, we were in a very, very important game. And we knew we were going to have to score a lot of points to win that game. And time was ticking down in the first half. We got a big punt return, had first and goal from like the 4 or 5, something like that. So the quarterback comes over, sidelines. I said, okay, we're going to run this. He goes in, calls the play, boom, -3. Timeout. Clock was running down. Comes back over the sidelines. Okay, we're going to run this play. He goes out, runs the play, boom, -4. So this time, he only comes about halfway. He doesn't come all the way to the sidelines. He says, Coach, we're messing this up. I got this. What he was really saying is, Coach, you're messing this up. Let me take care of this. I said, well, it's got to be a pass. And he looked at me like, as much as we run the ball, you think I'm going to call a run? And so he runs back to the huddle, did something in the huddle, comes out. They run a route that I have never seen before. They score a touchdown, and we go on to win the game. But that team was bought into what we were trying to build. And so it just became a matter of trusting them when it's tough, when it's not easy. Second group, or actually third group, our family. You know, that's the tough one. You know, I had a mother and father that worked 2 jobs. Both of them worked 2 jobs so that I could get the kind of education that I needed to do what I wanted to do. And I know a lot of you in this room understand what I'm saying when parents sacrificed for you. I've got 3 daughters, Maria, Gina, and Angela, who I'm very proud of. You know, they grew up the right way. They got the right kind of education. They got good jobs. They married really good men that are good husbands and good fathers. And they have given us 7 beautiful Italian grandchildren. How can you beat that? And then, of course, I wouldn't be here at all without my wife of 35 years. 43 years. 43 years. She caught it, didn't she? She caught it. And that leads into what I'm going to say. She took that hook, line, and sinker right there. I wouldn't be here without her. You know, to be a wife of a coach, you have to be resourceful, you have to be independent, and you have to be thick-skinned. And resourceful, I can't begin to tell you. There's such a big gap when you coach that you're just not around. And they have to take care of everything while you're missing all this time. And in order to do that, you have to be resourceful because the demands are that you might have to be in 2 places at one time. But they figure it out. And the coaches that are in here know exactly what I'm talking about. And if that's not love and support, I don't know what is. You have to be independent. Well, for those of you that know my wife, you know that's not a problem. She's a very independent person, very capable of doing whatever needs to get done. And you have to be thick-skinned. Because believe me, when you're sitting up in them stands on Friday and you miss a 3rd and short, she's not hearing about how great her husband is. But I will say, she let a few of them know over the years what she thought of them also. So that's kind of a tie. She's been my confidant through all of it, things that I could share, emotions after a bad loss, through it all. And I love her very much. So thank you, Annette. So I've talked a lot about trust and support. And again, I want to give you an illustration of that. We were playing a playoff implicated game against Lancaster when they had Robbie Carpenter and that crew. And they came over here and was 28-all at the end of regulation. So we go into overtime. They score, we score. Second overtime, we score, they score. Third overtime, they score. The defensive captain comes up to me on the sidelines and says, "Coach, just go for two because we ain't going to stop them." So there's that trust again. Well, Paul Miller, our athletic trainer, was standing right there when he heard that little conversation right there. And in the third overtime, and I forgot to tell you this, I gave it to the same kid 7 times in a row, Steve Howard. And he scored, which brought on the conversation with the defensive captain. Steve is huffed in the end zone. He's bent over on his knees like this because he's been the workhorse all night. Paul heard our conversation. He runs down to the end zone. He said, "Steve, I can't come out there because you'll have to come out for a play. And you know he's just going to give you the ball again." There's that trust factor again. Well, Steve gets up, goes back to the huddle. There's that buy-in. There's that buy-in. We give him the ball. He scores the 2-point conversion. We win the game. And you say, "Okay, Coach, there's the trust and there's the buy-in. Where's the support that you've been talking about?" Well, this is what happened. When Steve ran in for that 2-point conversion to win the game, my wife was standing down there where the band is, right there in the end zone, and she started jumping up and down so much she pulled her hamstring. So John Hickman had to get the golf cart and go out there, and they had to cart her off the field. Now, if that's not support, I don't know what is. So in closing, I've lived in this area my whole life, the Columbus area. And I'm always running into people, high school old buddies, college old buddies, and they always ask me, "Mike, why do you do that? And why have you done it for so long? The headaches, the transferring, the meetings, the time for the pay that you have to do." And I always tell them, if you haven't lived it, you can't understand it. That's my response. If you haven't lived it, you can't understand it. And what I mean by that is teachers and coaches have the opportunity to be life-changing individuals. Life-changing individuals. When an assistant coach goes on to do something, whether it be administration, whether it be coaching, whatever it is, goes on to do great things. Or when a student writes you a note, tells you how you impacted their life, how you helped them through a tough time. Or when you run into ex-players and you see what kind of father they have become. Or they tell you, "Coach, all those times that you made me run after practice, it really made me understand what was important, and it made me change." Or you run into an ex-player, and they say, "Coach, that day that you pulled me in the office, because I was acting so weird that day at practice. Coach, things were so bad at home, I was thinking about doing myself in." That's when you understand. That's when you understand that you might have made just a small difference in someone's life. But don't confuse small with insignificant. Because a lot of small things grow up to be big things in a person's life. So many times, we are defined, or our successes or failures are determined by the relationships that we have nurtured with the people that we lead. So the state can mandate all the testing they want in the schools, or a coach can draw up a perfect play on the whiteboard. If you haven't created a relationship that establishes that want to inside that person, those scores aren't going to be what you want them to be. And that play is not going to work. Because there is no competency without connection. And that's the most important job that you have, is creating those kind of connections with your players or your students or whatever it might be. So I'm just extremely grateful that God has allowed me to do what I love to do for as long as I've done it. And He has placed the people in my life that have allowed me to do it to the best of my ability. So thank you, God bless, and go Lions.
And for 38 years, Tom Martin, has been an exemplary person like that. He spent time as a teacher, an administrator, and director of athletics for 3 Gahanna middle schools, and he served them all with excellence. He graduated from Ohio State with a Bachelor of Science in Education and a Master of Education from Xavier University. He was a member of the Central District Athletic Board for 8 years. During that time, he was the board president for 2 years. He was Central Ohio, this is a long organization here. I couldn't believe it. He was Central Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association Athletic Director of the Year for 2016. The next year, he was elected into that organization's Hall of Fame. In 2019, he was elected into the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association Hall of Fame. Currently, he's the executive assistant for member services at Brookside Country Club. He resides in Gahanna with his wife, Roxanne. They have 2 grown children, Scott and Catherine, and 4 grandchildren. So please welcome Mr. Tom Martin into another Hall of Fame.
Good evening. Thank you, Gary. First of all, let me thank you, the trustees of the Hall of Fame. I cannot thank you enough for the invitation to be a part of this storied tradition. I want to congratulate the other Hall of Fame members for their award tonight also. When Gary Kitzmiller called me a couple of months ago, I almost didn't pick up the call. When I saw his name come up, I actually thought he needed a sub in the Monday Night Golf League. I knew I couldn't play and I didn't want to disappoint him, but I'm so glad that I answered. When I heard him say, "We want to congratulate you on being inducted into the Gahanna-Lincoln Athletic Hall of Fame," I was taken back. 38 years of history, events, and people went rushing through my head. So here I am tonight with my family, and we're so appreciative of this award. I want to say thank you to my wife, Roxanne. 39 years together. Thank you for all the love and support that you have shown me in this journey. So many late nights and weekends away from her and our children. So many times that I said I would be home at 5 o'clock, and it ended up much, much later. You never wavered, and you were always there when I needed you the most. to my two children, Scott and Katie, who were both introduced to the gyms at Middle School West and Middle School East by the year one of being 1 year old. I love you and I'm so proud of what you've become. They both had to endure having their dad as their assistant principal in middle school for 3 years. With them leaving and starting their college careers and careers to work and being away, but they now both live here in Columbus and are married to wonderful people, Amanda and Brandon, and they have blessed us with 4 beautiful grandchildren, Grace and Hugh, Lucy and Heidi. We love them all. I'm blessed to have my mother, Marilyn Barton, here tonight, my brother Mike and his wife Renee celebrating with us. My brother Greg couldn't be here tonight, but I've talked with him on the phone about this award. And last but certainly not least, my father, Norman Martin, who passed away in 2010, was the best dad. He knew what he wanted out of life, and he went after it each and every day. I try to emulate the love and devotion to family like I witnessed him do every day. The first thing you learn growing up in a farm is work ethic. You learn quickly to be self-sufficient, but to also work with your family and neighbors, and most importantly, that the job is not done at a certain time. You work until the job is done. I've kept this philosophy with me for 50 years. The second thing that I learned growing up and going to school was a passion for sports. We lived and breathed our high school teams, the Buckeyes, and with my family, the Reds and the Browns. My love for sports came at an early age, and I've kept that passion going for 60 years. But I also realized I wanted to be a teacher, not a farmer. I had a great 7th grade history teacher, Mr. Ningemeyer, who inspired me. From the time I was 13 until the time I walked into Middle School West in 1980, that was the plan. There were many bumps and twists, but it happened. For the next few minutes, I'd like to talk about the opportunities that I had and the relationships that I was able to bond with. And let me preface this with the overwhelming understanding that Gahanna Jefferson has great student athletes and great parents. I was blessed with a handful of outstanding coaches and volunteers. 26 people that are in your Hall of Fame, or in our Hall of Fame, were coaches for me. Mike and I are a little bit different than the athletes that are up here tonight because first and foremost, we were teachers. Everything we did first was about providing instruction, and then we practiced the skills that made the students and athletes better. Teaching American history for those 8 years was fantastic. Every 45 minutes, a new group of students would walk into your classroom, and you had the opportunity to talk with them, to tell them stories, and to hopefully open their eyes to what this country was all about. Being able to close that door and focus just on those students was a time that was so rewarding. I developed my philosophy of teaching and learning in the early years by watching and listening to others that I respected. These are the people that were able to tell me it was student first and athlete second. My first principal, Larry DeCenzo, Mr. Jack Schmidt, Bob Mell, Dale Ford, Roger Veers, Dan Rotella, Michelle Chappell, Mike Shade, and Chet Moeller. Chet was actually the person that encouraged me to go into educational administration, so I did. And that first opportunity came at Middle School West in 1988 when Gahanna decided to have assistant principals, Phil Koppel at Middle School East and myself at Middle School West. When I started, there were 4 sports for boys and 4 sports for girls in the middle school level. When I ended my tenure in 2018, we had 10 sports for boys and 11 sports for girls. The idea for many of those new opportunities came from parents, believe it or not, who would approach me with a wish or an idea, or their son or daughter may have been good at that sport, and we didn't have it. So we discussed it, and many times, with a lot of work, we made it come true. The second big opportunity came for me when Phil Koppel called me on the phone and said, "Would you like to come to Middle School East and be my assistant principal?" I jumped at the chance. I don't have to tell you, this group of people, what a great person Phil was and is. For 3 years, I soaked in as much information as I could. His leadership skills, his organizational skills, his human compassion, but he never wavered in his strong belief in education. But most of all, it was his work ethic. It was unstoppable. This was a blessing and a curse for Phil. And I don't have enough time tonight to do justice to the men who followed Phil at Middle School East that I worked for. Hank Langhouse, Dwight Carter, and finally Brad Barboza. All of them in their own rights were great men, great leaders for the staff and the students at Middle School East. I learned so much, and Middle School East benefited so much from them. I know this is going to take you back, but finances are a huge part of an athletic department. Purchasing, paying for people, collecting fees, and these next three people who I want to mention were so critical to me in giving me advice and guidance in those early years. And they were not afraid to tell me when I messed up, and they were not afraid to tell me when I occasionally did something good. Over the years of working with them, they became my saviors. In the early years, Aloha Ball called me so many times on the phone with what she called constructive criticism. But I learned, and I learned fast. In the last 5 years working with all three middle school, Burt Ward, no one worked harder for the athletic department in Gahanna schools than she. And Sherry Kish, the secretary at Middle School East, for 21 years, I could spend the whole time tonight talking about how important she was in my life. She was the total package. She was smart, she was fun, she was serious when needed. And then the last big opportunity came when the powers that be finally decided that assistant principal and an athletic director couldn't do all those things in one day. And so they separated it. And they kept the assistant principal to do the academics, discipline, etc. And the AD then would handle all the sports. So for 5 years, I was the director for all three middle schools. The idea being to bring all three athletic departments together on a level playing field when it came to finances, scheduling, coaches, and facilities. Working closely with the building principals, secretaries, and staff, we were able to be very successful. It was exciting to see the look on their faces when parents, coaches, and players could talk about new experiences, new uniforms, and new equipment to work with. But that meant for me 3 different buildings, 3 sets of parents for each season, 300 athletes in the fall, 300 athletes in the winter, 300 athletes in the spring, and over 30 coaches in each season. I had some great people who I called game day managers that helped me so much at those buildings, and I couldn't have done it without them. I loved 99% of my work as a middle school AD and a principal, assistant principal. I loved representing Gahanna schools because whether it was in the OCC, whether it was at the Central District, or whether it was at the state level, Gahanna Jefferson schools were special and they were well respected because of the tradition and the people. So it's my hope for the future that you all, and I learned tonight, Mr. Dorn, that you will continue to provide opportunities for the student athletes at the middle school level. Because in the end, all we want for our children and grandchildren is the chance to be a part of a team. I know that each and every day I found the athletics were so uplifting and rewarding. Whether you win or whether you lose, there was so much you could learn. Thank you and God bless.
Tell me, is that an impressive group? Every year we beg for $10 from each of you. It's called an associate membership. And Tom Earl, are you still here, Tom? You still awake? He is supposed to be outside as you leave. And, you know, if you want to stop and drop $10 on him, we'd certainly appreciate it. It helps defray some of the costs we have in printing and mailing and communicating with you, so we'd appreciate it if you would. The other thing is, you folks will be honored at halftime tomorrow at the football game. I would like you to meet with the athletic director after we've finished here, and we have some football tickets, and he will give you some idea of the logistics that you will face tomorrow night, walking around construction and all kinds of things. So, you know, you will be honored. So thank you all for coming, and we had a great group tonight. It's an honor to have all you attend every year, and especially the ones who come back who are already in the Hall of Fame to honor these folks and the folks that we induct every year. We truly, truly appreciate it. So have a good evening, drive safely, and hopefully we'll see you again next year.
First, Mark Hensley. Mark's a member of the class of 1981. Participated in 3 sports while student Lincoln: football, basketball, and baseball in 6 letters. Basketball was OCC honors, both his junior and senior year. He was All-District second team and chosen to the District 10 All-Star team. During his senior year, his selected captain was honored as the team's most valuable player. After high school, he served as Ohio Highway Patrol Trooper, earning the rank of sergeant, and in 1988 was honored as Trooper of the Year. Mark also served as assistant girls basketball coach at Lincoln for 10 years. During that time, the team won 6 Central District and 2 regional runner-up titles. He's now retired and works as property manager for Whitehall Police Department, living in Black Lake with his wife Sarah. 3 grown-up daughters, Haley, Madison, Gracie, Mark Hensley. From the class of 1996, Zane Stickle. Zane earned 5 varsity letters as a student, 4 in wrestling, 1 in cross country. He's a 2-time state wrestling qualifier, finishing his senior season in 3rd place. He's a USA Wrestling Junior National Freestyle All-American and Cadet 16 and under National Freestyle runner-up. His single-season career takedown records continue to stand 28 years later. He is also an outstanding student, graduating as co-valedictorian of his class. He's a 3-year starter, 4-year letter winner at the United States Naval Academy, NCAA Division I wrestling team, earning 80 wins. Zane served in the U.S. Navy for 20 years, retiring in 2020 as the rank of commander. While in service, he flew numerous combat missions on Iraq and Afghanistan. He resides in Falls Church, Virginia, with his wife Bethany and their children, Isaac and Celia, where he coaches youth wrestling. Zane, thank you for your service to your country. Congratulations, Zane Stickle. From the class of 2003, Ashley Zirkle. Ashley earned 5 letters in 3 sports, basketball and softball as a student at Lincoln. She was an excellent basketball player, but her entry in the Hall of Fame is linked to her performance on the softball field. One of the finest, if not the best pitcher to ever play for the Lions. She lettered her sophomore, junior, and senior years. Her sterling play was a major contributing factor for the team, finishing as runner-up in the 2003 State Softball Championship. After high school, she attended Bowling Green State University. She lettered all 4 years and was once named Mid-American Conference Player of the Week. She played on teams that had 133 wins, and in 2007 recorded a 33-8 record, becoming the winningest team in school history. She now resides in Phoenix, Arizona, and works in medical device sales. Ashley Zirkle. From the class of 2010, Ryan Gurney. Ryan Leonard in varsity sports as 2 varsity sports as a student. Lincoln played basketball his freshman year, then took 2 years off. Returned as a senior to be a key contributor to the team's group in the Final Four, while achieving a 26-1 record, best in school history. 2009, the Lions won a state championship in soccer in a penalty kick shootout. Notably one of the best at his position in the state, he garnered the following recognitions: Ohio Magazine Player of the Year, OCC Conference First Team, ESPN National Athlete of the Week, ESPN Soccer Player of the Week, Sports Illustrated Faces in the Crowd, Team Most Valuable Player, Central Ohio All-Star. He played 4 years of soccer at Vassar College, earning all-league honors on a championship team. He currently resides in New York City with his fiancée, Kirsten, who is also a Lincoln graduate and a member of the women's soccer team. Ryan Gurney. Coach Mike Lanza. Mike has been blessed with a number of outstanding coaches over the years. Without question, one of the special coaches here is Mike Lanza. His Tonight he enters the Hall of Fame for his time as head football coach for the Lions. His football team has compiled a 90-49 record with multiple OCC titles and playoff appearances. This is recognized as the OCC Coach of the Year, Central District Coach of the Year, Central District Coaches Association, and Agonis Coach of the Year. Fittingly, he was given the Ethics and Integrity Award in the state of Ohio. This past year, Mike was inducted into the Central District Football Coaches Hall of Fame. Mike resides in Columbus with his wife Annette. They have 3 grown children, Maria, Gina, and Angela, and have 7 grandchildren. Michael Lanza. And this year's award goes to Tom Martin. For 38 years, Tom was a dedicated supporter of all things Indiana Jones, whether it be through his time as a teacher, administrator, or director of athletics for all 3 Indiana middle schools. He served as excellence. He's a member of the Central District Athletic Board from 2010 to 2018. He was board president for 2 years, 2012 and 2018. He's an Ohio High School Athletic Association board member and chairperson. He was COI AAA Athletic Director of the Year 2016. Next year, he's elected in the Winter Hall of Fame. He's elected in the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Hall of Fame. Currently, he resides in Gahanna with his wife, Roxanne, 2 grandchildren, Scott and Catherine, 4 grandchildren, Tom Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for all of our 2024 inductees. Mark Hensley, Zane Stickle, Ashley Zirkle, Brian Grimmy, Mike Lanza, and Tom Martin. Congratulations, one and all.